College basketball season fully in swing here, and joining me today, we got the head coach of UConn's next opponent in Columbia, Coach Kevin Hovde. So, Coach, thanks so much for hopping on with us.
Thanks for having me.
Yeah, so I know first year here at Columbia, how's it been getting things up to speed and getting your systems in place?
Oh, it's been great. It's been great. Yeah, we've been here for about 6 months and had a really good fall with the guys. Obviously, a lot of different things to get implemented in kind of a short period of time. But the guys have been great. They have great attitudes, and it's a great group to work with.
Yeah, as you're going through your schedule of opponents, obviously you've got a little bit of experience in facing a UConn team recently and getting to face them when you were with Florida in the NCAA tournament. As you think about the returners that you've got back on this UConn team, what stands out to you based on what you got to see up close and personal last year?
Yeah, I mean, obviously they present a lot of different challenges. Really talented team, good continuity with the returners. But I think the thing that's most impressive is even though they're extremely talented, they don't necessarily rely on that. Their ball movement, player movement. They fight for good shots. They really play a style that's very difficult to defend and puts a lot of pressure on their opponents in different ways.
Yeah. You've had a couple. I mean, you had your first game the other day against New Haven. UConn's played New Haven. What have you been able to kind of get out of looking at some of that film as maybe look at that UConn New Haven matchup and think about how your team can present there?
Yeah, obviously we've studied as much film as we can. I think there's a few different things that we'll try to do to try to disrupt them a little bit, disrupt their rhythm offensively. I think that's really important. But again, they present a lot of different challenges, and they're definitely a different team with Reed back. I think he's one of the best big men in college basketball. So it'll be a really good challenge, but we need to focus on ourselves and make sure that we go in there and compete the right way.
Yeah, take us through your roster a little bit so fans tune in who might not be as familiar with the Columbia program as they tune in Monday night. Give us a couple guys to be on the lookout for.
Yeah, a great group of seniors that have played a lot of games for Columbia throughout their careers. Avery Brown is our starting point guard. He has started every game of his career at Columbia, so very seasoned veteran point guard. Kenny Noland is a combo guard, very good player for us. Blair Thompson is our small forward. He's another guy who's a senior, really talented player, big 6'6", versatile player. And then Zeno Bedri, our starting power forward. That group is kind of the core group of guys that we've really been able to build around here as we've kind of started up our program. And they've been really good. And it's a luxury for me because they've already played so much college basketball.
Take us through what a Coach Hovde team is going to look like out there on the court. How would you describe your style of play?
Still evolving. I don't know. It's interesting. I think one thing for us is obviously, for a lot of people familiar with how we played at Florida,
Yep.
and there's some similar components of that, but not quite as fast paced. I think that's something that we've kind of worked on here is being able to slow things down and make teams chase us a little bit more offensively as a way to kind of help our defense. That's kind of the main thing that we're working on, and as we kind of develop our identity. I think the pattern is similar to Florida, but we'll be a little more half courty.
All right. I'm just curious as you kind of look back on your past experiences. What do you think you got being a part of that team that won a national championship that now you take as your head coach yourself?
Yeah, I think it's just good, really good proof of concept. Really good proof of concept for our program, the things that we care about culturally, and obviously it just worked at the highest level, which is amazing. And we played UConn in our first year at Florida in their first in the that would have been 2022, 23. So
Yeah.
that was their first national championship year. And we learned a lot from them. And seeing them, that was kind of really before they really broke through. It was early in the season. But you could just see culturally, and even some of the things I talked about, like their talent was very good, but how hard they played, their style of play, how committed they were to it. It was really impressive. And, we were able to take some of those things, and kind of apply them to our program at Florida. and obviously it worked at the highest level.
Yeah, definitely. What's the biggest lesson you got getting to work under Coach Golden that you've applied to yourself now as a head coach?
Yeah, I would say a lot. He's really smart and talented in a lot of different areas, but the things that I think make him really special, it's really two things. It's ability to connect with people, the relationships he can have with his guys, and in turn that helps him be able to really push them and get the most out of them. And then just the belief, being able to instill belief throughout the program it's a special talent, and I think he does a really good job, just kind of laying out his vision for what, how good his teams can be, and then getting his guys to believe in that and go execute it.
Yeah, I've got to ask about one guy on this UConn team that's still pretty new to UConn fans, and that's Silas Demery. You obviously got to go up against him in the SEC at Georgia. What have you seen out of his game that you think will lead to him being a successful player at UConn?
Yeah, I mean, I think he's a really, really good player. Obviously, really talented, strong physical guard, great defender. He really made himself into a really good shooter last year at Georgia. I expect that to continue. So, I just think all around, really just versatile player who's tough and a winning player, a guy who will do the little things it takes to win. I think that kind of describes his game.
How's it been for you adjusting to life in the Ivy League? Because I've got to imagine it's a little bit different than things at the SEC. Even just talking from a overall, college basketball landscape when you talk NIL transfer portal, definitely a completely different level of that there at the Ivy League.
Yeah, it is. I was here before, so I worked at Columbia for 5 years as an assistant, so I was pretty familiar with the place. And it is there's some differences, but there's a lot of similarities too. Obviously our guys are very talented individuals as far as the academically and that kind of stuff, but they're very, very talented basketball players as well who work really, really hard in the gym all the time, really, really want to be good. So I think it's an incredible level. I think right now, it's very early on, but it's ranked like the 12th best league on Ken Palm, and every year it's really between 10 and 15. So it's a really good kind of mid-major plus level, and I think sometimes there can be a negative connotation because of the academic piece where people think it's lower level, but that's really just not the case at all. And obviously, the teams that have been at the top of the league have been really, really good. Top 50, top 100 teams. So it's an incredible level.
Yeah, I've got just two fun ones quickly here to wrap because I don't want to take up too much of your time. Be honest with us. Maybe you could win over some UConn fans. Was UConn the toughest team Florida had to face last year in the tournament? Give you the biggest scare?
Yeah, probably. I mean, Texas Tech, we struggled in that game, but UConn really, yeah, they had us on the ropes. I thought they coached a great game. We didn't defend them well enough. I thought they got too many open shots in the game. We were a little bit fortunate in that. And then down the stretch, we were able to. Walter Clayton Jr. was really able to make a couple amazing plays, but for sure, really tough, competitive game, great atmosphere, and that was really difficult trying to being that matchup, trying to knock out the back-to-back national champions is really hard to do. And I think maybe when we got through that game, that really gave us even more confidence.
Yeah, I know for UConn fans, we're used to having a smaller guard on our side, hitting big shots in tournament games, whether it's Shabazz, Kemba, and Walter Clayton certainly had me, I guess, getting to feel what other fan bases felt back in those days. And I'll wrap with this one for you. Got UConn, Florida in a couple weeks here. You excited to get to tune into that one from afar?
I think so. I think we play that night actually.
Okay.
Yeah. So I think we play at Stony Brook that night. So
Okay.
I won't be able to watch it live, but yeah, I'm sure that'll be obviously electric in the Garden, get that matchup. So pretty cool for those guys.
Yeah, well, Coach, I really appreciate you taking some time. Best of luck in your first year here at Columbia. Excited to see you guys here in stores tomorrow night.
Awesome. Thanks, Jared.